for Stealing Vance. Time
Woo!
for some delicious chips, perhaps?
We were doing a different flavor today. I saw these in the store. These are turkey stuffing potato chips, and
Salty deliciousness.
they do taste like stuffing. They are salty.
Sagey.
I think I could eat a few of them and then I would be done. I'll do this quick.
They would make you thirsty. That's what I say. I went for the smaller chip so that I could tell you about our viewing party prize, because the BC Restaurant and Food Services Association is our sponsor for our viewing party. And today, we are going to give you an opportunity to go to 1920s Shanghai, and Lao Wai is our restaurant sponsor. This is a speakeasy in Vancouver. You need a code word to get in. So someone who we show you tonight on our viewing party will win a $150 gift card to Lao Wai.
That sounds fun, so stay tuned for that. Also, bundle up, because, oh my gosh, it's going to get so cold in BC. And people always say, oh, you can't even talk about the weather in BC because it's going to be minus 40 something as a low in Edmonton, some friends are saying.
But it's going to be like minus 20 in Vancouver with the wind chill. So,
Yeah.
I mean, bundle up and be careful. We're talking about things that your light layering here is not going to help you, at least in Alberta and particularly in Edmonton. People dress for the weather.
Unless you're sleeping in a tent, which
Oh,
is
man.
happening for homeless people right across the country. That's devastating.
Brutal.
We got a ton of feedback from our guest last week with Port Coquitlam Mayor Brad West talking
think?
about frustration around the court kind of blocking the province from putting up zones so that people couldn't do hard drugs around playgrounds and what have you. So a viewer reached out and said this. Sally in Richmond said, here's what I find so ironic. As a smoker and a renter who's trying really hard to quit, I can't smoke anywhere, in or on the property, but I could use the most deadly drugs on the planet anywhere. I darn well feel like it. It's madness. Brad West is refreshingly honest. Just love that guy. The Premier also frustrated. This is what he was saying this week.
Yeah, David Eby is not having it. He's slamming the court injunction on the public drug use law. The court's decision is very troubling to me. It's profoundly concerning. We can regulate alcohol use. We can regulate tobacco use, to our viewer's point. But apparently, the court has told us we can't regulate hard drug use in the province. We have not heard the last of that. And thank you, Rob Shaw, for being a part of our show yet again.
A lot of super interesting things on the show today. As you might have heard, we're phasing out the PAP test in BC. It's going to be an at-home HPV test. And we're going to have BC Health Minister Adrian Dix on the show talking about that and other health challenges that we're facing right
He's going to join us in studio, and it's going to be rapid fire. And I know many of you might think that Adrian Dix can't do rapid fire. We are going to get to as many of our subjects as possible. And hi, Minister Dix. We know you love watching the show. It's on his PVR.
Also, we're going to talk about the rise in the number of protests in Vancouver in particular, and what that means for the Vancouver Police Department and how they sort of navigate that slippery slope of protests.
Right? Protests have definitely changed and evolved, and as has policing. So Chief Adam Palmer from the VPD will join us to talk about this.
And we're jumping off this because there have been issues, especially in Ontario, with the police and protesters with the Israeli-Hamas war. And Toronto police got into trouble for handing out Tim Hortons coffee to protesters. A lot of people mad about that.
How did you get coffee from the police?
Well, not the police. Someone has brought it for us, but the police won't let them in. So the police is now becoming our little messengers between us. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on.
Delivery people, but the chief of police in Toronto ended up apologizing for their delivery.
So it's just tricky.
I wonder if Rogers will apologize for upping the rates after buying shots.
Yeah, so the sell rates are going up again this year. Rogers is doing it. Bell might. We'll see what TELUS does. A lot of people are sick of these high cell phone rates, and so is one of our guests, David Moskrop, is a political commentator and author. He says it's time to get rid of the oligopoly.
Well said, Linda Steele. You know what? We're going to have some fun. We have a sponsor for our hot headlines, and this is going to get you to Valentine's Day. Look at what we're giving away. The Hot Rocks contest.
Woo! That's gorgeous. It is a diamond pendant worth $3,000. And to get in on this, we're going to give it away before Valentine's Day.
Correct.
Send us an email and tell us a story about your first love.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's a dog, what, you don't have
An
to be
oak
married
tree.
or in a relationship. It's someone that you loved. Tell us the story. There's the email, hotrocks@checkmedia.ca.
Right, it's compliments of Kim Hellman diamonds. It is a lab-grown diamond. We'll tell you more about it as we get close to Valentine's Day. hotrocks@checkmedia.ca. Now it's time for... And we start on a somber note, Linda. Ed Broadbent passing away at age 87.
Yeah, I mean, NDP leader for a very long time, very sad. A lot of people were weighing in on that. Also, this is very frustrating and sad for me as the wife of the Surrey Police Chief. Turns out the mayor is now refusing to pay for the new Surrey Police recruits, which is the province is saying, we're not happy about this. We're going to make sure they're paid. But good Lord, that thing just...
How do you not pay people who are training to serve and protect? I don't understand that. I also don't understand truckers who roll into the D's tunnel, in the Massey tunnel, too tall. I can't even imagine the sparks flying here.
Every week there's an incident involving a semi-truck, it seems like, which is crazy.
Every week there's also a Trump story.
Oh my gosh. So it's getting hard to keep track of them because he's always in court and there's umpteen different trials going on. So we thought we would bring in our favorite Washington correspondent, Reggie Cecchini, to give us sort of the very, very short version of what's going on right now. Reggie, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so here we are for the second time this week where Trump's campaign and court calendars have collided. We're waiting on the judges here in D.C. to determine if he has blanket immunity to wriggle out of the federal election interference case, and if he loses that, whether or not the Supreme Court will even take it on appeal. Immunity is really an untested matter here in the U.S. because there's never been a president, current or former, in this situation. Then in New York, his legal team started closing arguments on Thursday in a bid to quash the Attorney General's civil bank fraud case against Trump and Trump's family and the Trump company. The state claims that he inflated his net worth to get favorable loan conditions. He denies it. He did get 5 minutes to talk, though, in court before he was cut off by the judge after calling this a witch hunt and saying that he's the one who should receive damages. A verdict against him could cost him hundreds of millions of dollars and bar his company from operating in New York. Watch for a likely appeal here. After that, he's off to Iowa for the first votes of 2024. His lead is commanding in the Hawkeye state, despite huge efforts by both Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, who are vying for second, and a chance to make this a more narrow race in New Hampshire, one that's already whittled down after Chris Christie bowed out, raising questions of where his supporters may line up.
Thank you, as always, Reggie Cecchini. This next headline, you know, I told you this in our list we did over the holidays. Fear of flying, this piques me.
Yeah, so we knew about the Alaska Airlines jet had this piece of the plane just boom, blow off mid-air. They had to do an emergency landing. This is what passengers said that was like for them, actually being on that plane. Listen to this.
It was a trip from hell.
Can you imagine? This is insane. So they're saying that some of these bolts were loose. A lot of these 737 MAX 9s from Boeing were grounded.
Yeah.
You know what, though? This is crazy. Somebody was walking and they found a cell phone and thought, what's this? And they opened it up. And that cell phone was on airplane mode. And it was one of the phones from the passenger. It fell 16,000 feet and it was still working.
We need that phone cover on our... Didn't you smash your phone cover? I think so. A couple of last minute headlines here. The Pope saying it's not okay to use surrogates. Please, this Pope is so progressive. This one hits me where I live as somebody who went through fertility treatment. So that, I hope, doesn't stand.
Somebody said, hey, the Virgin Mary was the original OG, so maybe, right? And also passports news.
Yes, Canadians, hello, our passports are among the most powerful in the world. So we're doing okay. People who say our country's gone all to hell, it has not.
Coming up next, phasing out the pap test. Woo! Flu deaths and growing concerns about the BC government's handling of healthcare. The Health Minister, Adrian Dix, joins us next.
And of course, viewing party time, $150 gift card to La Y up for grabs. Anna Maria in Victoria, hello.
We have Betty in Victoria as well, hello.
We love our Victoria, oh yes. And Chris in Port Coquitlam, hi Chris.
And we also have Jill in Vancouver, thank you all for watching.
Get in on the fun, it's easy. Take a photo of you watching us, send it to viewingparty@checkmedia.ca.